Hello and welcome to the Irish Arsenal Gooner podcast. It's Tuesday, the 13th of September. I'm your host, as always, Jonathan Giles. I'm joined by my weekly guests at this stage, Martin Stumble and John Mealy. How are you?
Evening, Johnny. All good.
No Carl Osborne, unfortunately, better known as Ozzy, due to work commitments, and Eamon Donnelly is on holiday. So we've got a new comer to the show, and I'd like to thank him for coming on. Ian Gunnery, how are you, Ian?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on, Ian, and hopefully we'll have you on over the season.
Absolutely.
You can catch our show, as always, and in our number one place at this stage on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. Going forward, when I get a bit more space on this laptop, I'll be back on Spotify. But for now, we're getting a lot of views on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, so that's where we're going to be for the next while, anyway. Last week's stats, I'm going to throw them out there. 91 views, we're down 9 on last week. 6 likes, down 1, and 860 subscribers to date, up 15. Happy days with that, Martin, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially the subscriber rate going up. I think the week it was in, might not have been the best week. And you can always see, like, when it's a defeat, nobody really cares looking back on it. So yeah. we have to start winning again to get the views back in, I presume.
Martin's also done to tell us, we mentioned their sponsor last week. Who are they again, Martin?
Is golf club clubgolf.uk. As I said, like, they do like some really nice classic shirts and put them into a golf thing. And what they did now as well, they started doing like golf towels to match your
lovely
jersey. So clubgolf.thing. Bruce Banana. So available as well on the thing. I leave the link again in the description of the video. They're very good for sponsoring us, and as I said, like, they're really nice tops. They have like others available as well. I'm not even mentioning that they have a Spurs top as well, but they do. But yeah,
we all have our faults.
They have a really nice Italian 91. So yeah, just check it out, and I'm also leaving a code in the description to get 10% off.
Yes, and of course, before we move on to this week's schedule, I'm sure everyone at this stage knows our fixture against Everton that was meant to come up on Sunday had to be postponed because of the death of the longest serving monarch in the UK. Queen Elizabeth passed away last Thursday evening. I'm just going to read out what Arsenal put out on their Arsenal media page. If you don't mind, lads, I thought just in I suppose tribute, considering we follow Arsenal ourselves, it wrote, everyone at Arsenal Football Club is saddened at the news of the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Her Majesty gave remarkable service over 8 decades to the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, and we join together with so many around the world in mourning her passing, and wish to extend our deepest sympathies to the royal family. That was by Arsenal Football Club themselves, released on Thursday. So I just thought I'd put that out there. Any thoughts yourself, lads?
She was a gunner, wasn't she? She was an Arsenal supporter.
An Arsenal fan, yeah.
And the only team that actually had a thing. Some went into Buckingham Palace in it, so so that makes it a bit closer, So you had Arsene Wenger and
true.
All for a tea party in Buckingham Palace. So yeah, it was good. But so yeah, like, that's kind of thing makes it even more closer to Arsenal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's unfortunately, like, she passed away. She could have stayed 2 weeks longer for the international break. But anyhow, look, we wish you all the best, and I'm sure she's going to have a good sending off.
Yeah, it was quite nice the way she invited Thierry Henry and the lads. I think I don't know whether it was Jordan D. Invincible season, but they were invited to Buckingham Palace, and it was quite unique because no other team ever got the chance to visit there, so it was a nice touch. And she was actually an Arsenal fan. I think if you were in the London Arsenal Supporters Club, you'll see her. You'll see a picture of her in an Arsenal jersey mocked up over the bar. So that kind of confirms that. But that's I thought we just pay our own, respects there. I'm sure Arsenal fans won't mind. So on to this week's schedule, lads. We'll be doing the review of the 2-1 away victory in the UEFA Europa League against FC Zurich there. I would have been doing a match preview of this coming Thursday's Europa League game against PSV. I had all the notes, spent all day Sunday, and then I looked at yesterday, and sadly that's been cancelled as well, which is unfortunate. I think it could have went ahead, but that's the way things go. So we'll be doing a preview straight to the Brentford game, which thankfully is going ahead, not at 2 p.m. but at 12 p.m. on Sky Sports Premier League. So that's something to look forward to. I want to go to last week's quiz question because I think it's probably going too late into the show. So I'm going to say last week's quiz question: which Swedish winger played for Arsenal between 1990 and 94 and Everton between 94 and 97? The answer was, lads?
Anders Limpar.
Anders Limpar, indeed. I say that probably caught a few out. That one, it was a tricky one. Did we get any answers?
We didn't get any replies, so we just, as I said, I think we have to do something different to get the guys going. But look, we might try another thing out today.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get the quiz question out early, and I'll repeat again in the match preview.
Yes.
The quiz question is relates to this coming weekend's game as usual. The question is: name the 2 Arsenal goal scorers in the 2-1 home victory last season at the Emirates last February. So that's name the 2 Arsenal goal scorers in the 2-1 home victory last season at the Emirates last February, and they win, Martin.
A fabulous fan pack. Is that the Brentford game? Yeah,
the Brentford game. Yeah,
yes.
This is for the Brentford fixture. Yeah,
just to make that clear. So the 2 goal scores in the Brentford game,
and we will be doing we'll repeat that during the preview of the Brentford match. So just to get it out early, you might get a few more mentioned. And of course, Martin said at the end of the show last week, anyone with any comments will also be, and could get a chance. Draw, any comments relating to the show, what you'd like to see us add or dislike, please let us know. And any female Gooners out there listening as well, if you'd like to get on the show, please comment as well. We'd love to have more on the show as well.
Don't give Johnny your phone number, please.
We're not on desperate like John Mealy for a head of hair, ladies. So if anyone knows a Wayne Rooney transplant, get on to John Mealy now.
Get yourself to Turkey.
It seems to work for that other.
Yeah, we're waiting for sponsorship on that.
If there's anyone from Turkey listening, give them some links.
Except for Neil Gentle Care, any hair transplants out there, good or bad, let John Mealy know in the comment box. We go straight to the match review of Thursday night's UEFA Europa League match day 1 victory over FC Zurich away. Goals by Marquinhos on his debut for us. He was absolutely fantastic. My man of the match by far. Definitely one for the future, lads. And he's only a kid. And of course, Eddie Nketiah got the second due to Marquinhos with a superb assist as well from across. And Kriyazu got a penalty from, I don't know whether you'd say it was a wild lunge by Nketiah, but I think he made the most of it. And they were probably, in fairness, lucky enough to get that penalty. But thankfully, we came unscathed and won 2-1. As I said, I'd probably give Marquinhos, he'd be my man of the match on that one. I thought there's a bit about him. He's got a bit of strength about him, a good bit of pace as well. And took his goal really well. Eddie Nketiah played well with him on Thursday night. I thought he teed up Marquinhos for the opener, and then he set up Eddie for his own winner as well. So that was quite nice to see. Nketiah had a few chances himself. It could have been a lot more than 2, in fairness. I thought he played really well. I thought he controlled the best parts of the game. And I just also took note of Fabio Vieira, very lively in the midfield, and a lot of tackles on him, but he's only got that a lot in the Premier League. But I like the looks of him in his 2 games I've seen him against. I'll come to Ian, since you're new in to the show. What did you make of the victory last Thursday night?
Yeah, I thought it was overall a good performance. Few kind of, I suppose, sloppinesses in the defense, but you take that when you suppose you're not really starting with your full strength sides. But I think there was a lot of good performances, as you mentioned there. Marquinhos, I think, had a great game, especially for the age he was. And I mean, these are big challenges. These are big games. It doesn't matter who you're playing especially when you're away from home on a European night. It kind of test your strength, test your mentality as a young player. And I think he handled it quite well. And I think, as we've noticed a lot of the time as well, we've done it all season where we concede a goal and the pressure's on us to try and pull something back. And I think that you can see, even with our second team, it's kind of, I suppose, our B team, you can see the mentality is just as strong as our main team. So I thought it was an overall good performance. I do think we need to be better. I do think there's things that can be improved on, because I mean, in the later stages when we're playing bigger teams, you're not going to have that safety net. You're not going to have that time in the ball to be getting away with those mistakes. But I think overall it was a good performance. We got the 3 points, which is the most important thing. But there's definitely work to be done.
Who stood out for you, Ian, and who would you have given the man of the match? There was a good few players there, wasn't there? In particular, Marquinhos and Vieira stood out.
I think for his goal, I'd give it to Marquinhos, but I think it was very close with Vieira, because I have to give it to him. He's not had a lot of game time with the first team, so like, I mean, he's had to really been thrown into the ground running, really, and not been given a chance to kind of ease his way into the squad, I suppose. Yeah. And like, when you take into account the 2 games that he's played in, has been away to Manchester United and then away in the Europa League. So I mean, that's 2 big tests on young shoulders to take on. So I think he handled it quite well. And albeit it wasn't exactly a great performance against United, I actually thought he was one of the best players when he came on. So I do think he's definitely a good player for the future.
Yeah, I don't want to come to Martin on the match. You were saying before I got on to Martin, you were saying your mate it was raving about Fabio Vieira, wasn't he? Before,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and I think we can see why he was so upset that he actually left, because as I said, he was a Porto supporter.
Yeah,
and you can see why he's so upset that young fella left. Look, he still needs to get the pace of the Premier League. We've seen him like 10 minutes or 20 minutes against United, and now in that match. So, but we see the potential, I think, and I think that's the good thing for it. But coming back to the match, it's a team that probably plays together in training, and you can see the strength there. I mean, I think Marquinhos is 18 years old. He doesn't look like an 18-year-old. I think he has a false passport. Anyway, like it just shows you, like, like that young fella is 18 years old, and when he scored that goal, he was in bits, he was in tears, so that just shows you how much it means for him to play and to score a goal for Arsenal as well, which is good to see, I think, as well. The only thing which we said the last couple of games, we created so many chances and we just don't take them. And as we see, like in the last minute of the first half, the stupid penalty, again, things like that can cost us, and that we just have to get rid of. I know it's the second string team. They have to play together as well, but we have so many chances. We had so many chances against them as well, so we just have to convert them. And that's what it is. Eddie had a few chances, and he took that header quite well, actually. He had a few chances beforehand. But that's just it. And look, there's no team is an easy game to play. I know, like I said the week before, like, look at they're not any good. But what I didn't know is that they actually had the old Austrian manager, who is the new manager now, and he obviously had a really, really bad start. As I say, he had 7 games, 5 losses and 2 draws. So that game, like, they couldn't lose anything. So they just went out with everything. And you can see the first 10 minutes, they were all over us. And Turner had a few dodgy decisions where probably and okay, we didn't see much of Turner beside the penalty afterwards, because they didn't really have any chances. But that let's hope Ramsdale is staying free of injury, because like I think there could be a weak spot like which might cost us in the season. But like, look, again, we didn't see Turner much in general, so we don't know what it's like. It's his first appearance for Arsenal proper. He made a few silly mistakes, but that's just what it is. But in general, look, we got the 3 points. That's the important thing away from home. There's gonna be two tougher teams to come with PSV and Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt played quite well.
Yeah.
So we have to go to them as well. So let's see how that goes. We're gonna have a massive fixture list in October. So this is gonna be like, there's no easy games, you know, as you can see, the play 10 games in October, like, and we just have to get the youngsters in, and hopefully we can get some results out of it anyway.
Who stood out for you, Martin, on Thursday night in the game?
Yeah, it's probably like, for obviously Marquinhos. I actually thought he had a quite good game. He actually, not only did he score the goal quite well, because it wasn't an easy goal, I don't think. He just came straight into the thing, and he I don't even think he proper took a shot at it. He just held his foot there, and it just kind of like, and that's just a talent in itself. But he had a good few chances, and the pass as well for Nketiah for scoring the second goal. I thought that was really good. So for a young fella playing his first proper game for Arsenal, I thought it was quite good. So I would give it, just for that, like, I would give him the man of the match.
Yeah, before I come on to John, what was the atmosphere like in the River Barford?
I to be honest, I wasn't in the River Bar. Unfortunately, because like it was like a 5:30 game, and it was finished work quite late.
Yeah.
There was a few people there. There was actually we got tagged in a few posts in the River
Oh,
Bar.
nice.
It was upstairs, so yeah, I think it's not the best crowd pleaser anyway, like Zurich against Arsenal at 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was they're gonna be more matches. But like, yeah, there was a few people there. The atmosphere was good. It's good to see that we even attract people to them kind of games. And yeah, let's hope we can get the same when we ever play PSV. But the next game, I think, in the Europa League is Bodo Glimt, isn't it?
Yeah, Bodo Glimt, Thursday, October the 6th at 8, and that's
Yeah.
at home. Yeah. I was really looking forward to the PSV game on Thursday, but sadly that's not on. John, what did you make of the match last Thursday night? I'd like to get your thoughts on Matt Turner as well in his debut game.
Well, we spoke last week. It was a chance for to use the squad, get players who haven't really played yet to have a game. So Tommy Asu had his first start of the season. So did Holding. Obviously the players we really wanted to see were Vieira and Marquinhos, and then Matt Turner got his first start. I thought he was quite nervous. I think one of the big mistakes he made was from a bad back pass on Gabriel when Zurich were trying to press us. But as Martin said, after the first 10 minutes, anything he was asked to do, he did. He did okay. He needs games. He's never played at this kind of level before. So he needs games. He needs to play with the defenders. They need to get used to him as much as he needs to get used to them. So it could have been more impressive, but I don't think he did a hell of a lot wrong, because, as Martin said, he didn't have a hell of a lot to do. I was delighted Sambi got another game. He needs more games. Although the good news from the training centre is that Party seems to be back training, which is good news for the squad going forward.
Yeah.
But the real news was we wanted to see Vieira and Marquinhos, and I don't think either of them disappointed. Marquinhos is 19 years of age, his first game at this level. He was really good going forward, but I just want to comment. He gave a huge amount of work in defence as well, which I think Arteta will be over the moon with. It's something that drove him mad with Pepe, and here's a 19-year-old kid coming in from Brazil, and he's working his ass off, not just going forward, but in defence as well, and that's only good for the future. It was an exciting debut. Scored a goal, got an assist. Everything he did, every time he got on the ball, he looked like he was going to do something. So an excellent debut for him. Vieira was one we've all wanted to see. He looks a really good, tidy player. He looks like an Arsene Wenger kind of player he would have loved to have had. I think he needs to bulk up a little bit, because he's going to get a hell of a lot of tough treatment in the Premier League. But I was kind of impressed with him. I'd like to see a hell of a lot more. Look forward to seeing more. Eddie and Martinelli. I know Martinelli got his goal, but I think they could be maybe a little bit disappointed with the performance. The walk rate was excellent, but as we said, we're dominating games. We're not taking enough shots. We're not taking the chances we do create. And I think they were quite greedy at times, where they could have passed or they could have taken another touch or later off. They were taking shots which they shouldn't have been taking.
Yeah.
Almost, desperately take it. But that's something they can work with in the training ground, and maybe Arteta can give them a clip around the ear. No, come on, this is a team game. It's all about the win. It's another game you made heavy weather of, but we got the win. So that's the main thing. So overall, I'll give the performance maybe 7 out of 10, but we got the result.
Who stood out for you, John?
Marquinhos stood out. I have to be honest. As I said, 19 years of age to produce that kind of performance. The desire to get, when he scored his goal, he ran from the edge of his pitch, from his own box, straight through the middle. They couldn't keep up with him. The desire to get on the end of that cross was there.
Yeah.
And as I said, his general work rate throughout the game was very, very impressive for someone so young. So you can't really argue with that.
I thought with Nketiah's goal as well, he was making the move to the back post where he nearly knew that Marquinhos was going to pick him out. You know, the instinct. And Nketiah has a great striker's instinct, hasn't he? He reminds me of an Ian Wright. You know, that type of.
It was a great cross, and the only thing he could do with the header was head it down. The keeper would give out to himself because he was betting at the near post.
Yeah.
But he can't do any more with that header except direct it down, get as much power on it as he did, and he got the reward. Gave us the win. We deserved the win, but you know, games like that, when you dominate teams like that, we've got to start putting more chances away.
Isn't it great though, lads, as well, the way we could rest Zinchenko, Odegaard, Saka, and Jesus on the bench, and you know,
this is where we play all these players. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, it is part of the reason we have a squad now.
Yeah.
So as I said, I mean, Tomiyasu was absolutely outstanding last season. He's struggling to get game time because Matt Wright is there. Ben White is doing so well. Yeah. Holding, who we all praised. Okay, well, 1-0 up, bring Holding on because he was really good off the bench last season. He needs games. He's got one. We spoke about Eddie. Eddie needs game time. He needs to show that he's capable of coming in if anything happens to Jesus. So this is what you want. This is what you want. This is where you have a squad. And as I said, the games are going to come thick and fast.
You suffered last season.
Yeah, and the games are going to come thick and fast. I mean, there's two games not to be postponed. Hopefully, the PSV game will be rearranged.
Yeah.
But the Man City, we're going to squeeze the Everton game in somewhere. So this is where you need the squad. And the more games the French players can get in, the better. Keep them on the toes and ready for action.
I know Sambi Lokonga, he played fairly decent against Manchester United, and we were talking about this last week. It's going to take a while for him to get used to that role, you know, that Party has. I don't want to bring Ian in. How do you see Lokonga in? Do you see a future for him in that position?
Yeah, like I do see a future for him in that position. Where is that future in the near future? I'm not quite so sure. I still think there's a lot of work to do. I do look at him a bit like Saliba, kind of in a way, where I feel maybe if he went out on loan, possibly for a year, he might get more kind of game time in and around. Because I feel. Yeah, he does need game time. I know, John, you mentioned that. But I feel like the games are coming thick and fast, as we know. I think there's going to be a lot of games being played left, right, and centre, really, with little to no breaks, especially with the World Cup being thrown straight in the middle of the season. And I think like you have to play your strongest team, really. And I think if Partey's fit, Partey's always going to be in there. And I can't see how he's going to get the game time he needs to develop as a player, really. And I think it would do him best. I think he has the potential to be a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong, but I think if you're only coming on for 15, 20 minutes, as Arteta tends to do with most of his substitutions, you can't really show yourself as a player in a game like that. So I feel, he definitely does have the potential, and I actually like him as a player, and I'm glad we have him for the Europa League, as John was mentioning, because this is the game time he needs. He needs to get 60, 70 minutes at least to try and show what he's capable of. So I feel the longer we stay in that tournament, it's definitely going to be the best for him. But again, I think he could do best with going out even on loan in January and give him like half a season of playing regular football week in, week out.
Vincent Kompany really did see things in him, John, didn't he? When
he did, he gave him a glowing reference, and in fairness, he was captain of all the teams he's played for. You know, right through the UX youth team, the Anderlecht youth team, all the way working up. He has been part of a very good Belgian international squad, so the talent is there. As we spoke about against Man City, it's a difficult role to play. I mean, it's taken Partey a bit of time to learn this role himself. He's a very experienced player. He is very good on the ball, and he's not shy about it. He goes looking for it. It's just the defensive awareness. Because we were caught in the break by United, and this is where you'd expect Partey to be more aware of this. He wasn't, and that's just down to experience. And as we spoke earlier, I think that he just needs game time. The Europa League is a great chance. He was always going to play in the Europa League, and with Partey injured and then he out for a long, long time, he's going to be needed. So the more games he gets, the better.
Would you agree, Martin, with Lokonga? You see a big future for him?
Well, again, like big future is it's hard to see. Like, and as we say, like the problem what he had, I think last year is, he suffered even more last year because I think when they bought him, they were hoping that he gets more game time due whatever FA Cup, Carling Cup, and we didn't have any Europa League last year. So basically, once we got knocked out of the FA Cup and the Carling Cup in the first round, there was his game time gone. And then when Partey got injured, he just been brought in. And at the same time, Tierney got injured. That means Xhaka, who supposed to kind of like probably give him a bit of guidance, had to go to left back, and then he was left on his own. And it can't be good for your confidence when you have a game, then and you get slaughtered. And that what happened last year. And this year might be a little bit better because he had Xhaka in the last couple of games next to him. But right. He needs his time. And hopefully we can get as much time out of him in the Europa League, Carling Cup games and FA Cup games. And I'm not sure if we're going to loan him out in January unless we're going to get like somebody to replace him with El Neni gone now as well. Might have been an option maybe if El Neni would have been here, but and to be Partey looks like he's made out of glass as well, so he might get more game time than we fucking wish for.
Yeah.
So we never know. No, but I think he's quite a good player. Like he just needs to get this straight what Partey has. A little bit quicker passing forward. That being in a space where he can get a ball and move it further and quicker forward. And also the defensive part, I think he has to learn. That's not his best trait at the moment, but again, that probably comes with game time. And let's hope he's a good player. There's no doubt about it. But he's been in a bit unfortunate situations where he was thrown in front of the Wolves and didn't his confidence any say like that. But yeah, beside that, I think he's a good addition to the team. He would play quite well, I think, with Vieira, with Smith Rowe, even with Xhaka when he plays. But you want to keep Xhaka, especially in October. You want to keep him for the Premier League game. So you need to have somebody else there who can go. Okay, if Zinchenko comes back, he's a bit fit. So we have options, and that's good. I think that's good to see. There is some good prospects there, and I hope we can keep that on as well.
Yeah, and the ever impressive Granit Xhaka as well. He really is coming on leaps and bounds, isn't he?
It's just amazing, like how he turned around, and as I said, like a lot of people, especially after that walk, the fans, they actually to recover like that, and actually now becoming actually like not I wouldn't say a hero, like I said, that's like all right, but he's a big part of this Arsenal team now, and whatever talks there were between Arteta and Xhaka when that happened. And to where he is now in his mental, because he could have gone to Roma very easily, I think, and just said, but I think it's really his ambition and his will to do well for the team, and I think he's like not only is he quite good on the pitch, but I think he's a really big player in the team because he's one of the most experienced players in our room. All the others are kids; they're 21, 22, 23, so he would be that focal point for all the players, you know. So the man with the knowledge, you know. So I'm not surprised that he's in the captain's team with Odegaard and Jesus, because he's exactly that. He might not want to wear the armband on the pitch, even though he did wear it, I think, on in Thursday, didn't he?
He did.
So yeah. So look, I think he came a big way. Like, and he did the bad parts. He's just human as anybody else, as they all say, you know. And but it's great to see him recover that well. And like, look, hopefully he has a good season. And don't get any silly things what he normally would do, you know, like forget about the Xhaka. But unfortunately, he has a reputation. That's his biggest problem. And every referee knows that. So, but fingers crossed. So far this year, he was quite all right. Like, even with discipline, sometimes he might have to be control a bit better. But I just think he plays a better role this year because of the emergence of Zinchenko. He can play a different role, and that just makes his whole ability much better than being a defensive. He's not fast enough for doing both jobs.
Yeah.
And he can go forward, and if he can do that, I think he will be very, very good this season. So fingers crossed, we can keep him as long as we possibly can.
Yeah, I'm delighted for him as well, because he took a lot of stick, and he could have just thrown the towel in at that time when he went off to the fans. Could have said, "Look, I'm done," but no, he stuck at it, and it takes a good mental resolve, you know, to come back and perform again when fans were hating, you know. And he's turned the fans to, like as you said, you could say nearly an idol, you know. But no, look, hopefully we see Saka only improve game on game now, and hopefully with a good World Cup with Switzerland as well, he come back even stronger again, and pushes on hopefully for the second half of the season as well. But you
can see as well, just with Xhaka, if you have watched the Amazon Prime series that they done with Arsenal, and you can see just how much it actually means for Xhaka to play for Arsenal, and the dedication, the heart that he actually has. And I think a lot of people don't see that. Like, a lot of people just think he's a bit of a head case, and he doesn't care. And he's just there to pick up a paycheck, and that's all he cares about. And I think that really showed, I suppose, an insight into him, that like he feels hurt when he doesn't play well. Like, he doesn't need to be told it. He knows himself.
I think there was a Premier League thing as well. A half-hour show, Premier League show, I think it was called, and Granit Xhaka was on it, and he was talking about that people don't see the other side of him. You know, fans only see the match of the 90 minutes, but it's the build up to that whole week that people don't see when you're having good and bad days, you know. And it's just like everyone, isn't it, really, in your workplace? You have good or bad days. It's just how you perform on the week. The final thing is the match then, obviously, and the Saturday. Yeah, but no, his heart is in the right place, and he does love the Arsenal. Yeah. John, briefly on Xhaka, yourself.
He has found a new lease of life.
Yeah.
He is no longer the main man in midfield, and all the expectations of creating and defending is on him.
Yeah.
He's been used further forward up the pitch, and it's been transformative. And fair play to him. He is a leader in that clubhouse. The players around him love him. The coaches love him. I've criticised him in the past. He's driven every Arsenal fan mad at some stage. So he has shown a huge amount of professionalism to get back to where he is now, and fair play to him. I mean, he's been a stalwart for his national team for years. I can't praise him enough for the turnaround in these fortunes, but I think that's as much down to the manager as anything else. Yeah. You know, he stood by him, and he's given him a new position, and we're reaping the rewards, and long may it continue.
Yeah. And that result from Thursday night being match day 1, we're top there as well with 3 points because PSV and Bodo Glimt drew 1-1. And there's one player that really excites me with PSV. That's Cody Gakpo. A lot of clubs were after him in the summer, but that draw for PSV and the way things have worked out with us not playing PSV. If we do play Bodo Glimt back to back, match day will be 5 when we play PSV away could be a shootout for maybe even top spot. I think what were we saying last week, lads? Top spot puts you past the last 32. Is that right?
It
And into
does.
the
Runners up get to play in the round when the third place Champions League teams drop into this competition.
Come down, yeah.
The winners of the group don't have to do that. They skip that round. So it's very important to finish top of the group.
Yeah.
You never know what kind of team you're going to get. So
Well,
let's
it's
see what
key.
happens. We have to see what happens with the PSV game. Will it be rearranged? Will we have to forfeit the game? And that could make the game. That could make the game on Eindhoven really, really important.
Could there be a possibility of that game being forfeited?
It is.
Yeah.
I'd say there is a possibility. If they can't agree on the dates, it'll be the last thing. I mean, UEFA don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
It's right. They'll do everything they can to avoid that scenario. But the final games in the group have to be finished by November the 3rd, and they have to be played on the same date. It's unfair to the other two sides in the group as well, especially if they have a chance of finishing first or second. So
there's two available dates. It's a PSV. There's a PSV Cup game, and then there's our game against Brighton in the League Cup. And I think one of the two games have to be pushed, is what's being said.
Right.
And PSV, because it's our home match, they don't have to be seen to kind of budge. So it's being left up to the FA, I suppose, really, to allow us to replay that cup game at another stage. Because if we can't, then it's going to be deemed that we have to forfeit. It's similar to what Tottenham Hotspur had to do, because it's just out of our hands. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, you would just think that, like, you know, I'm sure, like, as they said, like, that game was cancelled because of, like, they had a talk with PSV and all the fan clubs and the police and whatever. So you would have thought, like, they had a look at this and said, look, if you don't play Thursday, when can we actually play? So they must have had some kind of idea. And must have been also in the knowledge that if we can't play this game, that we probably have to forfeit it. So again, yeah, you would hope that some kind of common sense would get into this. But let's hope maybe, like, by the game when it's supposed to be played might be all over. You don't know. But I don't think that's gonna happen that quickly. So there will be, like, definitely some kind of pushing and shoving some other things. It wouldn't be the first time we had to postpone a game, wouldn't it? Or shove it around.
I think even to go out the Carabao Cup, being honest, lads, wouldn't be a bad idea, you know, if it meant progressing in the Europa League, you know, because the Carabao Cup is only for the players that you don't use anyway, you know, in fairness.
It's another chance in the Euro and at the chance of the trophy. You can't just ignore it. It's a complicated situation. And with a congested season, it's just a pain in the arse.
I think as well, lads, the UEFA Nations League at the end of the month, it's fallen at a bad time, hasn't it? Really meaningless matches and that.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. And such a congested season, they're giving up weekends for this.
The whole thing is just crazy. I think.
Absolutely.
I don't understand why they don't put the whole season backwards till June rather than May.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing really happening in there's no qualifications. You basically taken away a month from the Premier League. So just push it out as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there
it's
should
not
have
just
been
the Premier League, the whole of European football. It's an absolute stupid moronic
disaster. Like.
What I can't understand, what I'd like to get your opinions on it, is they can change and postpone a game, be it in Champions League as we've seen, or Europa League or FA, and can postpone it, like, with little to no notice. Like, they can just do it. And you wonder, like, why can't they have the same with international games? If they're friendlies, like, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? If there's something lying on it, fair enough, play the game. But if you're playing a one-off friendly that realistically no one cares, do you know, that kind of, it's not going to affect the rankings, it's not going to affect anything like that, do you know?
The only thing what I think about this friendlies, or not friendlies, that international break is coming on, is if you're actually playing in the World Cup, this is the last chance you actually get your national team together for 2 games, and you basically make your choices, you know, who you're going to bring to the World Cup. So I can understand why they're playing these international games. But they could maybe, like, I mean, for me, I actually looked at it. There would have been a possibility that they can play it on the Thursday coming back from the international. But that means they're coming back Tuesday. I think England play Monday. And Switzerland play Tuesday. So they're coming back on Tuesday. play Thursday, and then we play Spurs on Saturday as well at 12 o'clock. So I can't see that happening, but is a possibility, and I wouldn't hold my breath if they do it. And again, maybe they can play a younger team, and we can save our team. I don't know. We'll see what it is. I hope, as I said, I hope that somebody in Arsenal has some kind of like thought about it when they said, "Oh no, we're not going to play the game." But yeah, let's see how it turns out.
I think if a decision has to be made, I think you have to look at what's the best interest for Arsenal as a club. And yes, you want to win. You want to win every game, 100%. But I think if the game can't be played, it's better to just take the 3-0 loss. I know we don't want that, but you need to look at the main bones of it. We should have enough quality in our squad to win that group regardless. Yeah. And I think if you look at a point of, yes, you could say, right, we could just give up the League Cup, but then we're going back against what we said, where we have a young squad that needs game time. And you look at Sambi Lokonga there, needs the game time. You need the likes of Marquinhos needs that game time. They're going to be playing teams that would be of the quality that they can shine in and do their best in. Like, they're going to suffer if they're playing the likes of Man United and Liverpool.
One good thing is that PSV drew that game against Bodo Glimt, so that's kind of like 2 points lost for them,
Yeah,
so that can be like vital if we do have to give up that game, which we don't know yet. But look, it does two things. It gives us 2 points head start, but it also like shows that Bodo Glimt are not like a pushover. So any games we're gonna go to in October are not gonna be any easy games. You can't just expect to go there and just pick up points, like with you need to perform as well. So, but yeah, like we'll see how it goes. Like I'm not gonna think about stuff which is gonna happen in being like the next game is Brentford, and that's what we have to concentrate on.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that if that PSV game isn't in between, the next Europa League game, as I said, is at home, Thursday, October the 6th, against Bodo Glimt, and they're pretty decent themselves. The key word really is respect the opposition, and don't expect to go out and beat them, because there is no easy games in Europe, and especially the Europa League. There can be those tricky teams that I remember under Graham Potter. That's who was that speech team? Ostersund's, yeah, and they gave us nearly knocked us out, didn't they? And look what happened to Graham Potter. It was only the only way was up under them. His management career has gone is accelerated. But Chelsea, it's a dodgy one. I think he was doing it all really well at Brighton, but you can only wait and see what happens there at Chelsea. But we concentrate on ourselves, and that's the main thing. And that moves us on to our Premier League match preview. This coming Sunday against Brentford away, originally scheduled for 2 p.m. I nearly wasn't going ahead probably at all, but thankfully the sources in the FA got us there. 12 p.m. now it's scheduled for. Brentford are in 8th position, having a pretty decent start to the season. Second season syndrome hasn't really kicked in for them. Their home form has been pretty good. 4-0 home win against United, and 5-2 was their most recent game. Tony with a hat-trick in Buemo, and Johan Wissa. He wasn't a half bad player himself. Our previous meetings, let's forget about that opening day, I think, when we got beaten 2-0. I won't even count that as a match. We were just shocking. And then, of course, in February, we won 2-1. I won't mention the goal scores because that's our quiz question. And look, I didn't trick myself up there. Which brings me on to the quiz question. Name the 2 Arsenal goal scorers in the 2-1 home victory last season at the Emirates last February. Please don't mention them, lads, during this preview. Brentford, I'll go back to Ian since it's your first one on this, Ian. Not a bad team at all, particularly at home under Thomas Frank. What do you make of Brentford yourself, and do you think this will be a tough fixture for us?
I think this is going to be probably one of the biggest tests we've had so far this season. I actually think they're going to be probably nearly a tougher task than Man United are. And the reason being is they're quite a solid team. There's very few weak points within the team. They're very solid in defence. And the likes of Tony, as you mentioned there, is on the real good goal scoring form, and I think it's going to test the likes of sorry, I don't know what's going on there. Like Alexa is going off there randomly.
Alexa.
Must be a ghost in my house or something. But yeah, no, I think like the likes of Saliba, like it's going to be a key game for him. I think how Saliba and the likes of Tierney like have that good kind of partnership going up. Gabriel as well. Like I think this is a game for Gabriel to have a good headspace, because Gabriel, don't get me wrong, is brilliant, but I think if he has any sort of mistake like he did against Fulham, the likes of Tony is going to bury him every single time. He's got the pace there, and I think I think we have the strength to win. Of course we do. I think we will win. I think it's going to be quite a close game, but I think we need to start kind of not. I suppose John mentioned it. A lot of players keep trying to take chances and being greedy. I think there needs to be more of a team play, and they need to look for, I suppose, the right passes and the right balls. It doesn't matter who puts the ball in the net at the end of the day. What matters is that we win the game. And I think that there's a few players I've noticed, John, as well, I agree with you, just want to shoot from anywhere they can rather than actually pick the proper passes. So I think, definitely it's going to be a tough game, and I think we definitely shouldn't be naive playing them.
Yeah, they've a good point to their team. Brentford, Ray in goal, Janssen in defence, Norgard, who really impresses me in midfield, and then obviously they've got a good front three in Wissa and Buemo and Tony. John, moving on to you. They're a very physical team, Brentford, but they can play some nice stuff under Thomas Frank. They've really surprised a lot of people. Obviously ourselves on the opening day last season, and even at home we rode our luck a bit, when they got the late equaliser. How do you see the game going yourself, John?
A lot like Ian, I think we have to be on their game. They've shown against United that if you're not on their game, they're well capable of beating you. They're well capable of scoring goals. And I hope that Arteta and the rest of the lads don't forget the opening game last season. I hope they remember it, and they hope they remember it well. They will try to get amongst us. They'll try to be physical, and they've got a lot of pace in the side. So we've got to be careful. We may well press them off the pitch as we've done everybody else, but we've got to be careful on the break. I think this will be a tricky game. I'm well capable of winning it, but also well capable of screwing it up. I agree. Tony will be looking to get us to leave it. An inexperienced centre half. He's shown a hell of a lot of talent, but he'll be looking to get at him and try and force mistakes. It's a tricky game. We've got to be at our best, and we need to turn up. And if we turn up, we're better than them, but we need to turn up, and we need to give them due respect. So that's what I say. Remember that game last season. Remember what they did. Hard running, good side on the ball, very physical, not going to be afraid to get in amongst us. And we've got to be on our best to beat them. So that's what I don't expect it to be an easy game. Not in the least.
You mentioned Saliba there against Tony, John, and Ian. Do you think Saliba could be as cut out as he was against Rashford? Pace-wise, Tony is something about him, but even his physicality, do you think he?
We got caught in possession in midfield, and he was a little bit out of position as well. So I mean, the centre halves were too far apart. I wouldn't be surprised if he brought Tommy Asu back or right back and asked Ben Wick to play in this game. Yeah. Maybe sit down Saliba for the game and say, look, just giving you a break. You've had a lot more games than we thought you'd have this season. You've impressed me. You haven't pissed me off. It's going to sit you down, and he'll be back for the next one. Just because of the centre forward he's playing against. It's something. Then again, like Saliba. This is a team Saliba. Like Sambi. This is something Saliba has to learn, and he's going to learn it by playing. Young players do make,
and he has to learn. It's a learning. He's had a great start to his Arsenal career, all right. Saliba.
Really. Young players make mistakes. It's how they bounce back from mistakes. So.
That's I think as well. Learn though from the mistakes of that United game, where you're playing a team of Brentford that have a lot of pace, more pace than more pace than Man United would have, as we've seen. I mean, you don't beat Man United 4-0 by playing bads, as we've seen. And I think we need to play with caution. When I say play with caution, is yes, like we like having a lot of possession and that, but we need to watch the high line, because we can't be getting caught. Because if we're getting caught being pushed up too far up, the likes of Tony and that, like if he's like, if they're 2-on-1 with any of our defenders, we're in trouble.
Yeah, and what they've cleverly done with the Community Express Stadium, like Griffin Park, they've made it really a tight, compact ground where the fans are nearly on the side of the pitch. You know, it's a really intimidating atmosphere. But they're really fit. They're a really fit side. They remind me of what Bielsa done with Leeds. They can go all match, but they've these players that you've never heard of, like one of our own that was with us, Jay Da Silva, who had a great start to the season. He scored a screamer against Leicester, I remember. And Rico Henry, which I quite like as well, their fullback. They really, even without Ericsson, they've really recovered, you know, even though he's only on loan. They've got a player called Damsgaard still to show. He scored a cracker of a free kick against England there, the Euros. It was quite a nice addition for them. I can see no bother of them staying up, and probably a really nice addition to the league. Martin, we lost 2-0, of course, on the opening day last season, and as John says, the players will remember that, and hopefully they've learned from that. How do you see the game going on Sunday?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably one of the games that hurt them the most, you know, at the start. Obviously, the complete different circumstances now, complete different team. And again, for me, it's like a big game like Fulham, you know, they have the Mitrovic is going to be their Tony, you know. So we just have to be careful. But if we, as we all said before, if we use and take our chances, I think we can score loads of goals, and we just have to take the chances and just don't let them, you know, get on top of us. We just have to be careful, but like just get more clinical. And I think that's what Arteta is saying in the interviews. And let's hope that that's what we can do. I think Brentford are an interesting club. Like, and I only read an article that, you know, the way they actually came apart, like that the fans bought the club and they got the money basically given by a sports gambler. And then the caveat was that, like, if they can't pay it back, they basically have to give the club to him. And now he owns a club so he made $700,000 into 300 million, which is great. But as well as like being a sports gambler, he put a lot of effort in assembling the club. And you can see what he bought, like that, as you said, that Darmstadt fella, like, he's an absolute brilliant player. They seem to have kind of like, obviously with the manager, you know, like a bit of Danish thing in, you know, in connection, the same way as like Spanish players bring in Spanish players. So, but they have really, really, really good fit players, and they're definitely like a team to stay up. They could be like Leicester the next couple of years, I think, in that kind of level, you know. And they might even go on with what they do. And the manager's not bad, but I think hopefully with the game, remembering that they lost, you know, and it must have been embarrassing for them, you know, like going to Brentford and losing 2-0 couldn't be a good idea, a good memory. So I'm hoping that they take these memories and turn them into motivation. And as John said, we don't know. Maybe Arteta surprises us with a bit of change in the back, so we're a bit more unpredictable, maybe. And yeah, just be clinical and take the chances. We will get chances. We will have probably 10, 15 shots on goal, hopefully. And we just have to take at least 2 or 3 of them. And then I think if we do that, doesn't matter what we do on the other end, we should be able to win this game. But it's gonna be one of the tricky games, I think. Probably as you said, like, you know, probably like more thing than Man United. And let's see, like I hope. I'm not gonna predict any clear win, you know. Like I think it could be even a draw. But yeah, let's see how it turns out. Like, let's hope. Let's hope I don't know what the mentality of the fans is. You know, it's gonna be a weird game. You know, Premier League games, you know, like it's so close to the funeral. I don't know what the atmosphere is in London, but it will be a strange atmosphere, I think. Yeah, very subdued. Yeah, exactly. And see what's gonna come out of it.
Yeah, they're quite physical, Brentford, but they use the physicality to their benefit, especially in Buemo. He's like a tank, but he's just some pace on him. You know, he's terrifying. But I probably, to be honest with you lads, if I was going for a prediction, I don't know about you, I'd probably go with what we won in February, 2-1. I think it'd be that tight of a game, but I think we'll have enough quality with Jesus up front and the way he's performing at the moment. If not, I'd probably, him and Odegaard probably be my goal scorers on the day, being honest. But you never know.
A good score we have for the last couple of games against Villa, against Fulham. So I take it 2-1.
Yeah. Would you take a 2-1, Martin? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. 3 points. I take 3 points any day. Still top of the league.
John, what would you take? What do you think?
I'd take a scrappy 1-0 win with a goal off someone's backside. I wouldn't care if the win. The win is the big thing. Let's get the win. Let's have the performance would be great, but the result is more important.
Ian, your prediction?
I think it's going to be a tight game. To be fair, I think we'll probably nick it 2-1. I'd love us to comfortably win to kind of get a little bit of revenge, but I think we need to just get the job done. It's not about it's not about trying to look pretty or try get hat tricks or this, that, or the other. Just win the match, get the 3 points, and move on.
And I think with City playing Spurs as well, I think it's Saturday evening, isn't it? I think if that could end up like last season, it could end up as a draw, or even Spurs could come out and get a freak result. That could stutter City in their tracks, and a win on Sunday then pushes a bit further up, away from that pack. But a win at all costs coming into the international break. All right, lads. Yeah, I think we all agree. A scrappy 2-1 or 1-0, I think is on the cards. All right, and we'll be reviewing that game, of course, next week on our show. That brings me back. I don't want to mention the quiz question again, so it's running heads. Name the 2 Arsenal goal scorers in the 2-1 home victory last season at the Emirates last February. So please answer that, O'Neill Dental Care. I need my pearly whites coming into the World Cup months.
Oh, God.
I'd like to mention as well, it is Martin's birthday this coming Saturday, lads. Wish him a late birthday.
Not a round one anyway, so it's good.
21 again.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm actually, that brings me to the thing. I won't be there on Tuesday next week, probably. So,
that's a valid excuse. We'll give you that.
That's a bad excuse, yeah. But I'll be somewhere in Vienna in a hotel somewhere. Like, so I'll be hiding there somewhere. No, but yeah, should be.
You'll be getting his head shaved like John Media.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw.
He's lucky.
That brings a close to the men's side, and we're going to mention the WSL opener, Martin. They're playing Brighton at home this coming Friday at 7:30. Their game last week got cancelled. Yeah, go ahead.
They're playing Brighton after the match against Man City been cancelled due to the sudden death of Queen Elizabeth. So the opener, which would have been really a tough one, I think, like and a big thing, which is starting the season against Brighton on Friday, and then I think it's on Tuesday or Wednesday we actually playing already Premier League, Champions League against Ajax. So that be a thing, and then North London Derby the Saturday after that, which is going to be a really historic game. As I said, like the last time, I think there was like already 40,000 tickets sold, which will be, if they all turn up, like a record for the WSL. They did a few signings, like last thing, they signed somebody from Barcelona, a young girl from Barcelona, and she went to Everton. They only signed 2 players, Lida Hurtig and the goalkeeper. So let's see how the squad, like we thought the men's squad was a bit thin. The women's squad they let 6 players go. So with some very good players, with Schneiderbeck, Nikita Paris, Tobin Heath, just to mention the 3 top ones probably from that squad. So yeah, been an interesting season. I mean, they only lost by a point last season. So they have to go on and see what it is. But yeah, it's going to be, again, it's going to be a tight race between Chelsea, Man City, and Arsenal again. See how the girls go on. I mean, great results for the women, for the Irish women, to go to the qualifier, which could be, if Austria beats Scotland, a decider against Ireland. for a place in the World Cup. So yeah, that'd be an interesting one. I'm not quite sure who I'm going to cheer for there, but anyway.
No wonder
If
she's
you
not
can't get the flash, you can cheer for the wrong club.
Yeah. Now we'll see see what that's going to be like. But yeah, it's a great result for the Irish women as well, especially with Katie McCabe. She's really a stalwart for the Irish team. And it's really great achievement for them. So long may it continue. But yeah, see how the women go on in the WSL as well. It's gonna be something different after the English women won the Euros. So it's see how there will be a few games in the Emirates, and tickets are if you ever want to go to see a game like that, £10 a ticket, you can't beat it.
Yeah, it's an absolute bargain. And we're going to try to give the Arsenal women's game a bit more scope in the show as well, because they rarely get a mention. The Women's Super League show is also on BBC One, always after Match of the Day 2 on a Sunday at 11:30 if anyone wants to watch. It's quite a good show I think it's on for half an hour to an hour, but it's good coverage. I suppose they deserve as much coverage as the men do, because they are professionals themselves. So we're going to mention them a lot more on this season's show.
And we also try to on the YouTube channel as well try to get a few
the goals go up there, don't they, Martin?
The goals, I'm trying to get the goals up, so see how that goes, so just make sure you subscribe and then you see them goals as well. So
yeah, I suppose being your first show, Ian, as well, very briefly as well. We were at the Ian Wright gig, myself and Martin as well. Did you enjoy that night? Yeah.
Oh no, I definitely did. It was definitely enjoyable, and I suppose on the topic of the women's football, I thought it was a great insight to see how just how much football means to them, and I think it doesn't get seen in the same light as the men, and I think it's just taken for granted that I suppose the old age mentality of it, it's different, it's at a different level, but when you see the quality of women's football that's come through in even the last 5 years, it's amazing, and they deserve it. They deserve the recognition they're getting, and I think for England, the women's team winning the Euros, I think it just shows the quality that is within England for the Women's Premier League, and I think from a home point of view for Ireland, it's great to see Katie doing so well. And I think her interview that she gave that night, I think said a lot that there's definitely a lot of growth in the women's football, and I think it needs to be protected, really. I think as well. I think there's a lot more that can be done, but I think I think it's moving in the right direction. Again, I think it's definitely for the value that you're getting for, as Martin said, for £10 tickets. I think they should be given the support as much as the men should be, because I mean, the more people that even if it is your first game, the more people that go and support them and see the different sides, but that's how it grows. So I think it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's great to see Sky sponsoring the Irish women's team as well, isn't it? Here, that's giving them a nice bit of publicity. What do you, John? What's your opinion on the women's? It's really improving, hasn't it, over the years?
Last season was a terrific league campaign in the Women's Super League in England. It went right to the death. Arsenal and Chelsea pushed each other a hell of a lot. United almost pipped City for that Champions League spot, which would have been a huge shock. So the game is going to leaps and bounds. And as Martin said, with England winning the Euros in England during the summer, it's just going to give the game a huge, huge boost. I expect bigger crowds. As he said, there's 40,000 tickets already sold for the North London Derby at the Emirates.
It's amazing.
It's a big boost for the women's game, and it's up to them now to make the most of it. I mean, they've got a good TV deal with BBC and Sky.
Yeah,
are getting more publicity than they ever had before. The quality is actually there. I mean, I don't know what kind of the Euro game or the last World Cup. The quality at the highest level is really, really good.
Really good, yeah.
It's almost an upwards at the bottom. So this is a great chance to just keep pushing them forward. So we wish Arsenal well, and hopefully we'll get back to winning the league again. So it's been a couple of years, so hopefully we can get back and push hard and challenge for the title again.
Katie McCabe, are you listening? We want you on this show.
When we get on the show. So if we win on Friday, we have 2 teams on top of the table. Way!
And it's Martin Spursy on Saturday.
Hey,
There's be some
that's what
piss
you
up
want.
there. You might be saying Martin for more than a week or two if that all happens.
And Katie, it's Martin's birthday, so if you want to be on as a late birthday present, that's okay as well.
Yeah.
Anna Bourne, Katie McCabe, are you listening? And there's always, you get the Dublin Arsenal fan pack as well. So I'm sure you want that Premier League winners medal. I'd like to mention before we wrap up, it's been a busy show tonight. You can see the Arsenal in the official Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club bar in Dublin City Centre. One more key. It's great atmosphere. Martin himself tell you it's super, isn't it?
Yeah, again, coming back to the river bar, it's just amazing to see the support we're getting this year, after COVID. So it's really good to see and I can't wait for a bigger game, to see what's going on. I mean, the Man United game was good, but I can't wait to see the Spurs game, because that's normally gonna blow the roof off, especially if we win. So it's just good to see everybody back, and long may it last.
And the younger support as well. It's great to see so many young Gooners coming out at the Emirates and in the Dublin Arsenal Supporters Club bar. Long way we get more people to subscribe to our show here. Please like and subscribe. Tell your mates. Tell everyone that's Arsenal related. Men, women, whatever. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers. And what happens then, Martin?
We give away the Gabriel Martinelli sign. It's not signed. It's just his jersey. But look, at least it's a momentum. If you want, I can sign it for him. It's no brother.
Martin will sign that if he gets something for Saturday.
Exactly. Yeah.
If only we could get Katie to sign it.
To be quite honest, I actually had a pink jersey with me at the Ireland game in Finland, but then there was a team must have been at least 4,000 kids in front of me. So I said, nah, I'm not gonna bother. They're waiting there for getting an autograph, So yeah, but I'm pretty sure Katie's really good in that. She will definitely sign something for us, and we will in the future we will get something going there as well.
Yeah, Martin wanted to make the bar before last orders, lads. It wasn't anything to do with the 4,000 children. He set his priorities right, like us all, and fair play to him. I'd like to thank, as always, Martin, Ralph, Hassan, Hootle, Sumble, John, who wants to grow some Hermelia, and Ian, I haven't thought of anything yet, Goonery. For appearances this week, lads. You'll catch us again on the show next Tuesday. But until then, have a good week and thanks for listening.
Take care, boys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Take care, boys.
Thanks, Ian.